All right, we'll go back into Revelation chapter 13 and I'll go back in verse 1, that people be saying that the first beast, like in Revelation chapter 13, so I'm just going over that because they're saying that as the papacy, the Catholic Church, the false prophet. That's not true. The first beast is those first beast which you read about in Daniel chapter 7. The first was like a lion, had eagle wings. And the second was like unto a bear. And the third one was like a leopard. The fourth one was the 10 horn. But you see in Revelation chapter 13, it shows all 13 and 1. It showed all the beasts that was in Daniel chapter 7. Except the little horn. See, in Revelation, the little horn come in verse 11. That's what a lot of these preachers and prophets do not understand. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand. Right now, we're in the first and the second beast. That's why you're watching Russia, the United States, Britain, and Russia, fighting in Ukraine. You gotta understand that. And China is on the scene too, because China gonna be part of the third beast. But they ain't making war yet. They may make war with Taiwan. He's like the false prophet from the Vatican. There he is among the third beast. The third beast got 4 heads. He is among them. False prophet is among them. He gonna come out when the 10 horn shows up. He gonna come out from the third beast and get with the 10 king. And when he get with the 10 king, he gonna pluck up them other 3 beasts who he was with. A lot of these men say he gonna pluck up the 10 horn, or 3 out of the 10 horn. That is not true. He gonna pluck up the 3 who he was with, because he got out from there. That's in Daniel chapter 8. I will read it to you. See, when the United States horn get broken after they fight Iran, they gonna break Iran horn. After they break Iran horn, the Bible said his horn gonna be broken. We don't know how long. Can be 6 months, years, 3, 4, 5 years. We don't know. Like in verse 8, the he-goat is the United States from the west. They touch not the ground. You see, when they went to Iraq, they touch not the ground. When they go to Iran, they gonna beat Iran. They done broke Iraq home. Bush broke Iraq home. Now, look like Trump gonna break Iran home. But the Iran home got to be broken. That's a lot. The Iran came up last. But the horn was higher. The higher came up last. You read Daniel chapter 8, tell you all about it. I'm gonna go to verse 8. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 8. Said, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. You see that the 4 notable one is the leopard. The leopard had 4 heads, and the false prophet was among the leopard. See, in verse 9 tells you, it say, out of one of them came forth a little horn. The little horn is the false prophet from the Vatican, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. See, he said, out of one of them came forth a little horn. So little horn is the false prophet, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. See, it tells you. That's what I'll be trying to show you. The false prophet, the little horn got with the 10 king. You read about it in Daniel chapter 7. Like in Daniel chapter 7, it said, And then verse 7, see, the 10 horn came up first. It said, let me see, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful, terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. What beasts that were before it? You know, the third beast was before it. Third beast had 4 heads. See, before it, and it had 10 horns. See, 10 horns showed up after the third beast. You know, at the end of the third beast, they're like overlap. He said, before one get out, the other one come in. That's why Daniel said he saw a beast. All right. In verse 8 saying, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Talking about the false prophet. He got out from the third beast, and he got with the 10 kings. When the 10 kings showed up, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up out of roots. Who were the 3 of the first horn? Because he was among the third beast. He got out from the third beast, so it left 3. And he plucked those 3 up when he got with the 10 kings. He gave power to those 10 kings. And he plucked those 3 up, who he was with, in the third beast, the little horn. The false prophet got out from the third beast. When the 10 horns showed up, he got out from the third beast. The third beast was a leopard, it had 4 heads. And he got with the 10 kings. Then when he got with the 10 kings, he plucked them other 3 up who he was with, like Britain and Russia and China. See, a lot of people don't understand. See, they say first, plucked up by the roots, and behold, and this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things, the false prophet. And you read in verse 20, it tells you the same thing. The 10 horn come first. Then the little horn come among the 10. Verse 20 of Daniel chapter 8, verse 20. It said, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. See, right here he said 3 fell. Like in verse 8, it said he plucked up 3. It's the same thing, but he did say 3 fell here. See, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellow. See, and the same horn made war with the saints. He prevailed against them. See, I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. See, in verse 24 it says the same thing. The 10 horn come for it, then the little horn come among those 10. It's just going to read a little different, but it's the same. In verse 24 says, and the 10 horn out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. See, right here he said he subdued 3 kings. See, the 10 horn come first, then the little horn, another horn, come after them, after those 10. And then he going to subdue 3 kings. See, the 3 kings who he was with in the third beast, because he was among the third beast. It was 4 of them. He didn't pluck up 3 out of those 10. He plucked up those 3 who he was with in the third beast. He came from the third beast and got with the 10 horn when the 10 horn showed up. Very simple. If you read it and understand it. That's why the Lord said, he that read, let him understand. Right now, like I said, we're just in the first and the second beast. That's who you're watching now. They're making war. You know, United States gonna break Iran home. You know, a lot of people say Iran got beat on the United States. But I'm going with the scripture say. They're going to break a ram horn. And after the Bible says his horn will be broken. That's all I'm trying to show y'all. This is the beast, all that's, the third beast gonna come in after the United States horn be broken. And people are saying that it's like Babylon, it was Nebuchadnezzar. That's true for back then. But the Bible is talking about Daniel chapter 7, talking about the end time. History repeats itself. It just be a different nation. Just like the Persian Empire back then was the bear. Right now, who you're watching is the bear. Russian bear. It's a different nation. Lion back there was the, Nebuchadnezzar. But at the end time, it's Britain and the United States. It's the lion nation. And Alexander the Great was the third beast. Them 4 generals, 4 heads. But the third beast at the end time is going to be the Vatican and Britain and China and Russia. 4 of them will be ruling the world. Then after that, after the third beast, tell you that in Daniel chapter 8, after the United States won't be broken, Daniel 8:22. It said, now they're being broken, talking about the U.S., the United States. Whereas 4 stood up for his 4 kingdom, and shall stand up out of the nation. Out of like the United Nations, but not in his power, and not in the U.S. power. But it said, 4 stood up when the U.S. home was broken. It said, in verse 23 said, in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgression or come to the full, the king of fierce continent, understanding of dark sentence shall stand up. See, understanding of dark sentences shall stand up. That's the false prophet. See, in the latter time of that kingdom, then the Antichrist will come in. See, the latter time of the third beast. See, the third beast will rule a while. Pay attention, just read it for yourself. It's all right there. We're not at the end yet. And my Lord said there could be wars and rumors of war, but the end is not yet. That's all I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to get you all to understand where we are in Bible prophecy. We're in the first and the second beast. Daniel split them up so you can understand them where we are in Bible prophecy. We're not in the third beast yet. The end is not yet. Then we get into the third beast. The third beast is going to rule a while. The Bible tells us that. So in verse 23 saying, in the latter time of that kingdom, talking about the third beast, that kingdom. See, in the latter time of there, there's more than one. There are 4 of them. That kingdom. When the transgression all come to the full. A king of fierce continent. I'm talking about the Antichrist right here. A king of fierce continent. Understand of dark sentences shall stand up. They're just not showing the 10 horn right here at the Bible when they talk about the Antichrist. But you go back in Daniel chapter 7. You know that the 10 horn come first. Then the Antichrist come in among those 10. You got to understand what you be reading. And his power shall be mighty. You see, verse 24 said, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. By whose power? By the 10 kings. Remember in Revelation chapter 17, he give power unto those 10 kings. Not by his power, but by them 10 kings. He's a religious leader. He's going to be a religious leader and a political leader. Because he's going to be the head of those 10 kings. See, the false prophet is the head. It rules over the kings of the earth. The Bible tells you that in Revelation chapter 17, in verse 18. See, but them same king at the end time, you're going to destroy that whole church. The Bible tells you that, Revelation 17. Just got to read it and understand. But I'm going to go back to Revelation chapter 13. I just wanted to show y'all that to try to get y'all to understand. You know. See, one of his head, like in verse 3, it said, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. See, his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. See, that one of his head, one of those head in the third beast. The third beast had 4 heads. It might be the false prophet, or it can be Britain or China or Russia. But it's one of its head. It didn't say which one, but it said one of the head. Could be the false prophet, because they're gonna have maybe another one coming. You know, he gonna be that last one gonna be a vile person. You know, it tell you in Daniel chapter 11. See, Daniel chapter 11 says he's going to be a vile, he's going to come in peaceably. Daniel chapter 11, like in verse 21, it's saying, and his estate shall stand up a vile person, that's a wicked person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. See? You're going to be a vile person. You're going to be a wicked person. You know, the last false prophet. During the time of them 10 horns. You know. That's all I wanted to try to show y'all. You know. So you're going to be, one of his head could be wounded unto death. But I'm going to get back in verse 4. I just was trying to explain about the people, how they be saying that Revelation 13:1, that's because they say about the sea. You know, the beast came up from the sea. The Bible tell you that. I'm going to go to that in the Bible. I'm going to show you what it said, Daniel chapter 7. See right here, it's in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 3. See, I just want you to show you how these preachers be lying, adding things, saying things what don't be saying. They say, four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. See how they came from the sea. That's why they say it's from the Vatican, the European people, why they had a big crowd of people in Europe. You know, in the United States is from, you know, not a populated area, they be saying. You know, they saying that's at the United States. You know, like in verse 11. Talking about it's the United States. It's not true. It's the false prophet, and you start in verse 11. I'm going to show you all that next time, but I'm just going to show you that right now. You know, now you go into verse, you read the same, go stay in the verse 3 now, Daniel 7:3, where it said 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. So it came from the sea. Because they tell you in Revelation chapter 13:1, it came up from the sea. But you go into verse 17, chapter 7, Daniel chapter 7, verse 17, it tell you different here. It said these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arrive out of the earth. See? You arrive out of the earth. They say because it arrive out of the earth, it's talking about it's the United States. It said 4 of them right out of the earth right here. And it said these 4 great beasts came up from the sea over here in verse 3, Daniel 7. They go to 17, Daniel 7:17, it said these great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arrive out of the earth. See, tell you arrive out of the earth here. It's the same thing what you read about in verse 3. It's the same thing as verse 17. And in Revelation chapter 17. See, it says earth. 4 of them came out of the earth. And Daniel 17 and 7 and 17. Just because it's 7 and 3 say it came up from the sea. In Revelation 13, it said it came from the sea. See? And I stood up on the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. See? Now you go down to verse 11, he said that false prophet, but they be saying that's the United States because it came up from the earth. And the Bible tells you in Daniel chapter 7 and 17, it came, all them 4 of them came from the earth. It's the same thing. This Bible, they do that. They use different things. Just like they say about the soul and the spirit. The soul and the spirit is the same thing. That's all I'm trying to show y'all. Like in verse 11, he said, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. See? And talking about the United States because it's not in a populated area. The Bible, they use it like they use different things. It could have said you came up out of the earth right here. I mean, out of the sea. See, you use sea and earth. It's the same. That's all I'm trying to show you. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. You know? That's all I'm trying to do. You go back and right here it said, right in the first part of 13, it said the sea. And right here in verse 11, it's saying the earth. That don't mean that the United States. Now I'm going to show it, prove it to y'all. You know, and Daniel tell you in verse 3, 7 and 3, it tell you it came from the sea. They said 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverged one from another. They said, now I'm saying 4. In verse 17, these great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arrive out of the earth. They're telling you all of them arrive out of the earth right here. In Revelation 13, he said it came from the sea. In verse 3, say it came from the sea. Then in verse 11, saying that beast that came from the earth. Same thing the way he's saying Daniel 7:17. It means it's all the same. You got to understand that. You're looking at it wrong. It's like we might use, the Bible can use like angel. It said man, it's like with Abraham. When he came down and talked with Abraham, those 3 men. One of them was the Lord. They called him man. Then you go down and when them 2 men went toward Sodom, they said 2 of the 2 men, you know, the men turned their face toward Sodom. They called them men in verse Daniel 18 and 22. Then you get down, when they went towards Sodom, when they got to Sodom, they bowed themselves, you know, bowed to those angels. Then the Bible tell you that they called them angel. They was calling them men before. It's the same. The Lord said, have all power given unto him in heaven and in earth. You know, he's the head of the angel. He can make himself as an angel, or he can come down as a man, or he can come down as an angel. The Bible is used different, but it's the same. See? You know, call him man. It's like them 2 men when the Lord went up to heaven, and 2 men in white. Call them men. But they're angels. You know, they're man too. You can call them which one. They are man. Jesus Christ said, all power given to you, to him in heaven and in earth. You have power over all the angels. You have power over all men. You gotta understand how the Bible uses things. If you don't study the Bible and read the Bible, you won't understand. That's all I'm trying to show y'all, but I can go into a lot of different things. But thank y'all, and may God bless y'all and give y'all wisdom and knowledge and understanding of his word.